Murfreesboro in Nashville, Tennessee. This is The String. I'm your host, Craig Havighurst. This is not Oklahoma the musical, obviously. The song is a kind of kaleidoscopic view of a place with an open-ended story, a vessel for Kebmo's imaginings and dreams about America at large. But the thing is, as you'll hear in the hour ahead, Kebmo got the notion for this song, but he didn't know hardly anything about Oklahoma. So like a good collaborator, he pulled one in. Her name's Dara Tucker. She is from Oklahoma, from Tulsa to be precise, but she, like Kebmo, is based in the Nashville area today. They met just when Kebmo was needing help on this particular song. Now, I've been a fan of Dara for a while as a jazz and soul singer and songwriter, and then I noticed that she has a new album too, so I asked her to be part of this show. We had a great conversation about her unique artistic point of view and about co-writing Oklahoma with Kebmo, and we'll hear about all that in the second half.
Why did that state, that place name pop out as a title track and a track at all?
Well, at first, the way it came out was I was playing the riff that I was looking to do this song with, and I just started going like, what is it? Because I'd been playing it for about 2 weeks with wasn't even trying to look for something. I just liked the way it was played. Yep. So then I told him, I went, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. I was like, where did that come from? And it wanted to be Oklahoma. But, I think Oklahoma is the one that really indicates where I am and what I like to say. Oklahoma is such a profound place. It's a hotbed of musical genius that comes out of there. Yeah. It's the place where it has some of the most volatile weather. Tornadoes. Yeah. It's the home of the Black Wall Street and one of the worst atrocities, racial atrocities in history.
I just learned that story as part of my trip.
It's the home of cowboys and Indians and big cities, and it's a really interesting place.
It might take eternity, but baby, I got the time. I know it's gonna be worth the climb. When I finally make you mine.
We're listening to the song Miracle from The Seven Colors, the fifth studio album by Nashville's Dara Tucker. Around town, she's regarded as a top-flight jazz singer, but that's way too limited a view. She's a versatile artist who lets her love for and background in gospel, folk, soul, and R&B shine through in almost everything she does. And she writes almost all of her own material, which, as we'll talk about, is not the norm for female jazz singers.
And I really needed to know what the next step was for me. I remember watching CNN International and seeing, first of all, they profiled a bluegrass group that was from Russia. And I don't know if you know who these people are. I would love to know who they are.
Bering Strait.
Really?
Yes.
I have, since 2003, I've been wondering who this group was.
They were quite a thing for a while.
That
and
is
some
so
of the members are
interesting.
still here doing some session work.
That's so cool. Yeah. They were part of the reason I moved here.
Neat.
Because they profiled them and said they're doing bluegrass and they're in Nashville. And then I saw an interview with Winona Judd with Larry King, and she was talking about how there really weren't very many great songs that were coming through to her, and that's why she hadn't put out an album at that time. Yeah. She said, "Well, Larry, I'm just looking for some good songs, and there just aren't enough, and they aren't coming to me." And I thought, oh, okay, well, Nashville's kind of a music town. It's a day drive from Tulsa, so I can get home if I need to, and it wouldn't be too isolating. I would still be able to kind of connect with family when I needed to, but I wanted to be a part of a scene, and I wanted to write. That was really my first and greatest interest, and still is. I still think of myself as primarily a writer, and singing is just an outflow of that.
Here's another from The Seven Colors, the truly lovely Glory on Roots Radio.
I think it's time to make a change. Surely that could be arranged. Think I'll escape and go. No one knows my name.
Just describe this little journey that leads to The Seven Colors as a more wide spectrum.
I have so many different influences, and as someone who considers themselves to be somewhat expansive creatively, it can be a difficult thing to narrow yourself down to one lane or even two lanes. And where the industry is concerned, it's really not a feasible thing to try to do everything. It's just, you can't do it.
You wrote the title track
of Kebmo's new record,
Yes.
Oklahoma, with him. What's the story there?
Yeah, well, that was kind of a cool way that came together. We have a mutual friend named Marcus Finney who plays drums for both of us. And he's been kind of wanting to get Keb and I together for a couple of years. He's been sort of throwing this out there, I guess, on both our ends. And he finally invited me to a get-together that Keb had on New Year's Day. He does a big New Year's Day party. So I came to the party, and finally Marcus was like, okay, you guys are in the same room. You guys need to sit down and do something together. So Keb got my information and set up a writing session for me to come in and just kind of talk down some ideas. So we got to talking, and just through the course of conversation, he ended up asking me, well, where are you from? And blah, 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 from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And we just went on and talked for a little while. It's probably 10 minutes. And he suddenly just jumps, sits up and goes, wait a minute. I've been working on a song called Oklahoma. Wait a minute. Let me go find this. And he goes and digs around and finds this pad and paper that he's been working on. And he starts singing the refrain. He said, all I got is Oklahoma. He said, that's all I've got. And I didn't know what to do with it. And you're telling me you're from Oklahoma. He was so excited. So we spent the next probably 2-3 hours just with him kind of mining me for ideas. Okay, so he's like, I know nothing about Oklahoma. What do you think about what's your experience been? And historically, and, what is this state all about? And why am I ruminating about this? So it was just kind of a cool experience to see the way his mind works. Mm-hmm. And to kind of be able to contribute to that. It's definitely a Kebmo song, but to have participation in that and lend ideas to the process was really it was just a cool experience for me.